What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the Culture Godz channel. I am Mike Nix, the host of the Culture Godz channel and also the herald of the gods. Hey man, I gotta address this, man. The gods are not pleased. This movie, the American Society of Magical Negroes, has got to be one of the worst movies I have ever seen in my entire life. From start to finish, one of the worst movies I have ever seen. Now, I will say this, the gods have tasked me, to come down and test and check all of this media, And there's only so much I can do in a day, but they've tasked me, they demanded that I do this, all right? They demanded it. Because they have to consume this shit too. They want to make sure that everything is good. They're like, Galactus, and Silver Surfer is the herald, and he goes around to the different planets making sure, the air temperature's good. Yeah, the water's got some salt in it, got some animals grazing. And then, we got the people running around on their phones, We got some people over here throwing freak offs, cool. And then we got, the rappers, and we got the normal people that's living their lives, walking their dogs. Yeah, it's ripe. It's looking good. Come on, Galactus, come on. It's just mealtime, snack time. You know what I'm saying? Time to eat up. You got to make sure that the ingredients are right. That's my job. I'm the herald. But sometimes the ingredients, the meal just ain't right. Galactus, sometimes there's some planets Galactus had to skip. That's the culture god. Sometimes it's some shit that they just cannot consume. And it's up to me, It's up to me to make sure that these things are to their taste. This ain't it. The American Society of Magical Negroes, I'll be real with you. If I saw this at the theater, I would have been pissed that I wasted my money. I probably would have walked out about halfway through. I'm going to give you a quick rundown because there's no point of me even going into too much detail. Some of the shit, it's the movie is so shallow. It's the trailer, The trailer made this movie seem like it was going to be Black Harry Potter. I know everybody thought the same thing. Oh shit. It's going to be niggas with magical powers. You know what I'm saying? Flying around on broomsticks, shooting fireballs and lightning and shit out their hands, and, flying and levitating and, doing the Nightcrawler thing, disappearing and hocus pocus, all kind of crazy wild shit. I'm thinking magical Negroes, like black people with magical powers. I got none of that. Probably the biggest disappointment out of this whole movie. You know what I'm saying? Your title is the American Society of Magical Negroes, and you barely show any magic. And then the main character, the little bit of magic he did use, he wasn't supposed to use it, but he used it to fall in love or some shit. And that was it, man. I don't know. I'm lost. Now the title made it seem like it was going to be a comedy, which I would have preferred that. This was kind of a loosely based comedy, romantic comedy / magical comedy, but not much comedy, if that makes sense. A lot of that, these what are we, 2020s, late year old dry humor, romantic comedy type shit. Those that worked in Apple in their early 20s, and everything was whatever their generation was into was, and matter of fact, it takes place in the guy that Aaron is assigned to, the white guy that he's assigned to. Let me just give y'all a quick rundown, basically. So Aaron is Justice Smith, played by Justice Smith, who, by the way, we're gonna do a back-to-back on Justice, my man. The gods are not pleased with your last two offerings, sir. It's just, I don't know what you're doing, but we got to figure something out. But anyway, we'll get to that video probably in another couple of days. But Justice Smith plays Aaron. He's found by the American Society of Magical, I keep saying National Negroes, Magical Negroes. David Allen Greer plays his mentor, basically, who comes to him and says, hey, you know, this society of magical Negroes we put together, basically, their job is to make white people feel happy and less stressful. Because when white people are less stressful, black people live longer. There's less stress on black people. Basically, the more white people that are happy, the less black people have to worry about, right? When they're happy, they're not running around lynching and killing us, I guess. I don't know. This movie seemed out of date and out of place for it to be when it was made. Like, this generation in this era, I don't feel like that message hits home. However, the director, Kobe Libby, I hope I'm saying that right. The director, who is half black and half white, so he's interracial. So this movie was centered around the way when he wrote it, or I think he wrote it. Did he write it? So he wrote this basically from his perspective and some of the struggles that he faced growing up, kind of amplified. That's what this movie is based on. All right. Now, mind you, he's light skinned. No, he is not my brother. Okay, we are not related. All light skinned niggas are not related, and we are not the same. I promise you, we're not the same. But he wrote it from his perspective, and in some ways I get it. So the premise of the movie, you know, David Allen Greer, you know, approaches Aaron and shows him, you know, hey, listen, you know, you all of us are assigned to one white person at a time. And our job is to make sure that their stress level goes from high to low, because, you know, when we feel like the stress is getting out of hand, there's even like a little meter that pops up on the screen. I think like one of the cops comes out there and they show like the stress meter is like all the way to the, you know, to in the red. And they're like, you got to go over there and you got to talk to him and calm them down and make them feel comfortable, which is the weirdest shit ever. So like, they even say it in the movie, like, you know, they're not there to make other people happy, but at the same time, they're there to make white people less stressful. It's weird. There's even a scene like where one of the guys grabs the white dude by the balls and the dick and says something to him. I don't even remember what it was. But I was so appalled and so shocked that this movie was just going there in this way, and it wasn't even a comedy. That's the wildest part about this. I walked into this thinking this is gonna be a Black Harry Potter satire comedy. It's gonna be fun. He's got David Allen Greer in it. That's what I thought. Bruh, if you have not watched this movie, don't watch this movie. It is terrible. I didn't see any reviews on it. I remember when it first came out, when I saw the trailer, I think I might have saw a piece of a review at the time, but I kind of glanced past it, and I remember it not being so great, but I didn't watch the full review. I don't even remember who it was. And I said, you know, I'm gonna double back and watch it for myself as a black man. Let me just see what's going on. Got David Allen Greer in it. That's in Living Color fame. That's Blank Man fame. Let me see what's going on. Terrible. Moving on. So he's assigned to this kid named Jason, who works for this tech company or whatever. I don't know, man. The movie was so terrible. My brain is scrambled. You know what I'm saying? To even remember half the shit. And he's got this presentation because some of the technology in the tech that they're using, or the app or whatever it is causing, I guess, certain people of color to not pop up or some shit. I don't know. They're not recognized. So he's working on a presentation on how they're going to fix it or something. In the meantime, Aaron, Justice Smith, played by Justice Smith, he runs into this girl named Lizzie, who also works at this same company, right? And I guess they're all in this little think tank together, and Aaron starts to fall for Lizzie. Turns out Jason has a thing for Lizzie too. Now Lizzie already has started flirting with Aaron, and Aaron starts to flirt with Lizzie, and they've kind of got a little thing, right? They're flirty with each other. The jungle fever thing is going. It's great. Jason is completely just oblivious. And it's like, yo, hey, man, hey, hook me up, man. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey, be my wingman, man. Hook me up with Lizzie, like, you know what I'm saying? And Aaron is like, I guess, yeah, okay, cool, maybe. But Aaron is so like, yo, man, look, I seen it first, basically in the back of his mind. But he doesn't speak up and say shit. Also, apparently in the American Society of Magical Negroes, if you use your powers for personal use on the job. Say like you want to fall in love or something like that, or snap your fingers and now y'all at the Eiffel Tower, whatever, eating, sipping wine, or whatever it is that you're doing. Those powers take away from the overall powers of the society itself. So their powers start to drain, right? So it started to happen, and the leader of the American Society of Magical Negroes is a lady who, I guess when they first see her, you see her floating, and then she's like giving this grand speech like, how am I able to float like this? It's the power of the magical Negroes, because we cater to white people and make them feel good. Cringe. So I'm like, okay, so far I'm hating the movie and I'm not liking where this is going, because no one has made me laugh either. Like, we're at least 30 minutes in at this point. So man, I gotta get to my notes, man, because it was so much. So they're preparing a presentation, right? Lizzie and Aaron start to fall for each other. All right. Now I'm gonna get straight to the end. There's a speech at the end that Aaron gives that basically it feels like the dialogue of the director and the writer, who again is half black, half white himself, and I guess some of the struggles he dealt with in his life he put in the movie to kind of magnify it to the world. As a creator, as an artist, as a creator and as an artist, this movie got me fucked up, scrambled my brain. I can't even say words right. As an artist, I love when artists are able to put their real life experiences in movies, especially experiences that might, the world might not know about, that go on to a particular subsector of people, like spousal abuse and things like that, or drug addicts and, people that go through personal problems. And, it's cool. Even war veterans, I love seeing stuff like that. The black experience is something that most black people we've dealt with, and we found ways to fight through it and get to where we are now. So when he gives this speech at the end, and I'm telling you this as a light-skinned black man myself, I didn't like any of it. I won't say that. I hated about 90% of it. There was 10% of it that was like, okay, I get it. He's speaking up for himself, and he's pretty much standing up for himself for once in his whole life. I don't think that his issue was being black. I think his issue was just he didn't have much self-esteem. If you watch the movie, you're like, okay, this brother, he could have been really any race, and he just had some self-esteem issues. The way he talked to any and everybody was exactly the same. He's just meek little, can I please have a cup of water? I'm dying of thirst, but I won't do it again. Like, that's how he was talking to everybody. That's how he acts. And Justice Smith acts like that in pretty much all the movies he's in. Well, I would say the last couple of movies he's in, and we'll get to that in the next video. So I'm like, well, all right. So I'm following, and basically Jason has this presentation to this billionaire, I guess the owner of the company, about how they're going to improve the tech. And he needs Aaron to come out because Aaron is the diversity hire, I guess. I don't know. So he's urging, he's like, come on, man, I need you. I can't do this without you. I need you right there by my side. And so Aaron is like, finally like, nah, man, I'm not doing this. But he goes out on stage, and in front of the boss and some other people, he just goes off on him. He just snaps, which bravo for him. For standing up for himself. But the whole speech was just long, and he was saying shit that was just like, he was kind of standing up, but then you could tell he was kind of like not really sure of himself, what he was saying, and then he was still apologizing at the same time. And I'm like, well, what was the point of you even saying anything in the first? You could have said this after you don't have to do this right here and there, but I guess, he ain't got really nothing to lose. And then there was a funny point where the billionaire boss stands up, I guess the Steve Jobs of the company, and he was like, "Yo, listen, man, like you don't have any sympathy. You own an island. People with islands don't have sympathy." Like I thought that part of the movie was kind of funny, but other than that, this movie wasn't funny at all. It was like a dry humor, romantic comedy of the ages of the new age. That did not make you laugh. It did not make you think. And as a black man, as a light-skinned black man, I can tell you right now, yes, there are some struggles of being black in America, where you do feel like you have to walk on eggshells around white people, or you have, if you don't smile or laugh at a joke, then they're like, well, in their mind, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with this black man that he's not happy all the time and he's not smiling and showing his pearly whites all the time? Listen, I got the worst RBF ever. Okay, that's not changing at all. For a while, I felt like, damn, I need to maybe change, maybe fix that part of me. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not, maybe be a little more happy in people's presence. You have to live for yourself. That's just not healthy. You know, you can't please everybody. In that sense, I guess there's a lesson in the movie a little bit, but overall, the movie was trash. It was just straight garbage. And David Alan Grier, man, bro, from In Living Color fame to this, like, when you got this script, bro, you saw this script was like, yeah, signed, I'm down. Or did you just need money? Like, I'm sure one of the Wayans could have broke you off a little bread, bro. Like, you didn't have to do this shit, man. This was terrible. This was awful. And David Alan Grier's role, I thought he played the mentor role great. He was like his dad almost in a way. I love that part of it. But everything else in this movie was absolutely terrible. The cinematography was terrible. The pacing was terrible. The writing was horrible. The writer, the director and the writer, he needs to go back to the drawing board. I will say that, you know, don't stop writing and don't stop creating, though. You know, we need more creativity from our black writers out there, our, you know, mixed or I'm gonna say mixed, mixed race writers and people out there, not just black and, you know, mixed black and white, mom, dad, you know, black and white, but, you know, Asian and black and Jamaican and Italian and Irish and black. You know, I've got a black and Irish and German in me. So I get it. Growing up, what it's like, you know, not black enough for, you know, the black people and too black for the white people. Yes, sir. I get it. But at some point, you shed that skin, you grow tough skin, and then you embrace your individuality and who you are, and fuck anybody that don't like it. It's as simple as that. This movie was terrible. If you haven't seen it, I suggest that you don't go see it. If you, I want to go see it, but don't even waste your time streaming it at all. Don't even do it. It's cool. That's all I got for the American Society of Magical Negroes. Hope you like this video. Pull up on me on the next video. Don't do it for me. Do it for the gods.